Terminal insomnia, also known as early morning awakening or late insomnia. What happens is you fall asleep okay, but then you're waking up early in the morning and you cannot fall back asleep. You toss and turn, you lay in bed, and by the time morning rolls around, you are irritable and angry and frustrated, as well as tired. One of the most difficult problems with early insomnia is that it can happen night after night after night. And the cumulative effects of sleep deprivation are really significant. So let's talk about some of the ways you can deal with this insomnia. How can you relieve it? First, it's helpful to understand a little bit about the different ways insomnia like this comes about. Adults on average need about 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night in order to feel fully refreshed and functional. So what are the causes? Well, one, genetics. Everyone is built differently, and some people simply have a genetic tendency toward earlier falling asleep and also waking up early in the morning. So it's really helpful to learn how your clock is set. Second, age. As we age, we tend to fall asleep earlier and wake up earlier and earlier in the morning. So being aware of that can also be helpful. Next, hormones. Hormones, including premenstrual, postmenopausal, pregnancy, and hormones for men, even during midlife, can affect your ability to sleep all the way through the night. Pain and discomfort. Oftentimes, if we suffer from chronic pain, say back pain, arthritis, different sorts of illnesses, we might be unaware that that pain is bringing up our level of sleep into the higher cycles, and therefore we're waking up and staying awake much more frequently. And then we'll have difficulty also falling back asleep. Bad habits. These can be a lot of different things. For some people, it's eating late at night or exercising very late in the day, taking a lot of naps, keeping your screens on while you're in bed. We'll talk about that in a minute. And having a generally chaotic sleep schedule. In other words, getting up and going to bed at different times all the time. Sometimes this is unavoidable because of work or school or social obligations, but when it is avoidable, we really want to establish a routine for sleep. Next, medications. There are lots of medications that can affect our sleep, and it's helpful to talk to your doctor about this if you're taking medications. Some of the ones that specifically can affect sleep include allergy medications, steroids, certain antidepressants, ADHD medications, particularly when given late in the day, can cause insomnia. Caffeine, nicotine, and alcohol are all substances that interfere with our natural sleep cycle. And there are others, of course. If you suspect your medications may be affecting your sleep, talk to your doctor about that. Your environment. This is really key, and sleep experts agree that we need to sleep in a cool, dark, quiet environment, or as much as possible. There are many things you can do to impact positively your environment, and we'll talk about those in a minute. Stress. Lots of times we cannot go to sleep because of worries going around and around in circles in our head. We might find ourselves looping in the middle of the night or early in the morning, unable to fall back asleep. Worry and stress can cause a lot of muscle tension, muscle headaches, tension headaches, and this pain can also keep you awake. Certain medical issues can impact your sleep. A brief list includes restless leg syndrome, sleep apnea, depression and anxiety, which directly affect your sleep architecture, chronic pain, as I mentioned, arthritis, any kinds of nerve pain, neuropathies, sometimes associated with diabetes or with injury, an enlarged prostate, which may require then you get up frequently throughout the night to go to the bathroom, can impact negatively your overall sleep function. And then there are thyroid problems. When people have an elevation or a decrease in their thyroid hormone, a little gland that sits right here, it can impact their sleep cycle negatively. So what do we do? How do we address this problem? As I said, know your internal clock. Know if you're somebody who gets up really early, who functions better at night, functions better in the morning, and adjust your schedule as much as you can to accommodate for that. Fighting nature is really, really difficult. Know how your clock is affected by age, by hormones. One of the things that may help with this is melatonin. Melatonin is a naturally occurring hormone that is released from your pineal gland, and it essentially tells you when it's time to go to sleep, when it's time to wake up. The more light you're exposed to, the higher your melatonin levels go. When they get to a certain height, you become drowsy and go to sleep. Throughout the night, while you're sleeping, those melatonin levels drop until you're ready to wake up. So by taking melatonin in tablet form, which you can buy at typical health food stores or even the drugstore, you can actually fool your body into thinking that it's later in the day than it really is. Speak with your doctor before you take it, but it can be very helpful. Next, improve your habits. So if you're going to exercise, which is of course important, do it early in the day, not late in the day. It tends to be stimulating when we do that. Try not to nap. Naps are the number one way to ruin your nighttime sleep patterns. So avoid naps. If you must nap, limit it to 30 minutes and no more. Try to turn off your screens when you get in the bed. It's well known that the bright light from a screen, whether it's a phone or a computer, is stimulating to the brain and will make it very hard to get a good night's sleep. Similarly, if you wake up in the middle of the night or early morning awakening, do not get on your phone. Do not get on your computer or tablet. That is one of the best ways to make sure you will not fall back asleep. If you must use screens in bed, some people like to work, etc., use a filter. A blue light filter can help to prevent some of that brain stimulation that occurs when we are interacting with the bright lights in the nighttime, at bedtime. Try writing down your worries and anxieties. Keep a journal beside the bed or a notebook, piece of paper, and a pen or pencil. When you wake up in the night and you're unable to fall back asleep and you're looping and you're worrying, pick up that pen, write those things down, get them out of your head so you can get back in the bed and go to sleep. If you do wake up, do not lay in bed staring at the ceiling for anything more than 10 minutes. If the time goes beyond 10 minutes, get out of the bed and do something boring. Not something exciting, not television, not the computer, but something relatively boring. Read a boring book, look at your checkbook. No, don't do that. Read a boring book, do something. And when you are sleepy, get back in the bed. The idea is you're trying to teach your brain that bed is where we sleep. Bed is not where we lay awake and stare at the ceiling or where we loop and worry about all of the stress in our lives. Bed is for sleeping. So again, if 10 minutes goes by and you haven't fallen asleep, get out of the bed, do something boring, get back in bed only when you're tired. You may have to repeat that cycle a number of times. That's okay. Do it anyway. Improve your environment to the best of your ability. Remember, I said cool, dark, and quiet. Sometimes it's impossible to make the environment be that way. You can use eye shades, you can use blackout blinds, whatever you need to do to darken the room, dim the lights, obviously. For quiet, it's best if it's just quiet, but you may also benefit from earplugs or a white noise machine. There are white noise apps on your phone. White noise, we know, is very helpful in not only getting you to sleep, but also maintaining a good sleep pattern. Cool. You should turn the thermostat down a little. 68 degrees is probably ideal for sleep. If you cannot, turn the thermostat down, use a fan, sleep in the part of the house that is more cool, whatever you can do. You can also use cooling pillows and cooling blankets, those kinds of things. Address the medical issues that might be happening, in particular pain. If you have chronic pain, if you have pain from arthritis, back pain, shoulder pain, whatever it is, address it using over-the-counter pain relievers or talk to your doctor, yoga, exercise, stretching, whatever you can do to minimize or eliminate pain during the night. Even though you may fall asleep with pain, what will happen is you will have a more difficult time getting into those deeper levels of sleep and staying asleep. It goes without saying that we need to address any additional medical problems that may be going on, as I said before, thyroid problems, that kind of thing, or medications that may be interfering with sleep. Talk to your doctor. A few additional tips that can be very helpful in both getting to sleep and also staying asleep. We know that scents, smells can impact your sleep. So you may try something like an air freshener or lavender drops on your pillow, or just keeping a lavender plant or something like that nearby. Light therapy can be helpful. If you're constantly waking up at, say, 3 a.m., try a light box and light therapy at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, about 12 hours earlier, and you may find that it regulates your sleep cycle somewhat. If you are lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, worrying about things, a few things to try include, as I said, writing down those worries, getting them out of your head. What we call box breathing, which is taking a deep breath in, it can be count of 3, holding it for about 6 seconds, and then letting it out for 3 seconds. Doing that helps to calm your body, and the body then sends messages to your brain to relax. Squeezing your muscles and relaxing can be helpful. So starting with your toes and moving up, you want to tense the muscle as much as possible for a few seconds and then relax. Tense and relax. Working your way from your toes all the way up through your body and your arms and your hands to the top of your head. This can also be very helpful. So quick summary, what have we learned? Insomnia, particularly early morning insomnia or terminal insomnia, can have lots of different causes, everything from medications to medical problems to depression to other things. So it's helpful in treating the problem to first understand where it's come from. So you want to go over your medicines, etc., and make sure those are not interfering with sleep. In terms of addressing the problem, there are lots of things that you can do. You want to keep your room cool and dark and quiet. You want to have as good a routine as possible for going to sleep at night and getting up in the morning. You want to avoid bad habits like alcohol before bedtime or exercising very late in the day. You want to avoid working in bed using screens. The brightness of the screens can really impact negatively your sleep. So here are just some tips and some of the causes for early morning insomnia. If it does go on and on, I urge you to talk to your doctor or even a counselor about it and find out if there's more help. There are, of course, prescription medications, but generally they're best for short-term use, and they work a lot better to get you to sleep than to keep you asleep. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining me, and if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the notification bell, and I'll see you next time.